something I wanted to bring up and get your guys' opinion anyway. So what would you say? Like, let's say someone comes on your podcast. It's either like a topical thing or whatever. Like it's a let's say it is a topical thing, and they want to come on and discuss this thing, and it involves topics. Let's say it involves the jab or January 6th or like all the things that that are like hot topics, but
Sure.
censorship, right? These are all things I cover on my show, and I like to talk about people who've been canceled, whatever. So let's say someone comes on your show, freely talks about these subjects, willingly uh, makes himself vulnerable, but like, yeah, is passionately talking about these subjects, right? And then like several months later hits you up and is like, and I have like a couple of guys who make clips because I don't, I don't have the time or the bandwidth to like watch my shows and like cut up clips. So a lot of the times like they'll be watching as it's live and they'll make time stamps and they'll make clips, right? They'll be like, oh, these are the most interesting nuggets from this interview, and they make clips. And so a clip came out, and this person, let's say you made a clip, and the person messaged you like 7-8 months later and was like, oh, hey, I really don't like this clip of me because now it's affecting my sons trying to get a job. Can you please take it down or take my name off or just like whatever? And I just want to know what you guys would do, because I'm going, like I would only ever take a clip down or change it if like it was personal information that came out, someone was doxxed or something like that, where like someone's in danger, is something, other than that, I think it sets a horrible precedent because, well, and this is like not the first time that this has happened. Like a few times I have been like, oh God, can you just take that down? And I think unless you've revealed some really personal information, I think the answer should be no, because you can't, like, that's kind of ridiculous. And like, what if you went on like Tim Pool or like Fox News or something, and I'm like, oh, actually, can you take that down? Like that subject that I really wanted to talk about, that I was happy to talk about, that I freely came on and talked about with gusto, with pride, with passion. Well, now it's 8 months later, and now I'm afraid it comes up when you Google me, and I think my son is not going to be able to get a job from it. Can you take that down? Like, I don't know what your guys' take of this is, what you would do, and I guess, am I an asshole by not basically not taking it down?
Yes. No, I'm just joking.
I think that's. Go
ahead. No, you go ahead, April.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I think it's a little disingenuous if you take it down, I guess, because you already said the thing, damage done, and any like walking it back, I think makes you look kind of odd now too. It's almost like going back to the Bobby Lee thing. I do agree though, Chrissy, like if it is something like sensitive personal information or somebody's being harmed or doxxed or something, then absolutely, like that's a no question for me, take it down. But you'd think you'd know that within 8 months too. Like 8 months down the road, that's quite a long time.
Well, a quick question. Are they asking you to just take down the clip, or they're asking you to take down the whole live stream as well?
Well, that's a thing I don't think she understands, because it was in a live stream, and she brought it up because a clip came out, and she's like, can you just take my name out of it? Well, it's not about anybody else. It's about you and your experience. And like, what would you have me, random woman, really, that's what would you have me rename this thing? And also, like, I can barely keep up with my own shit. Like, I don't really have time to be going back and be like, oh, somebody's feeling someone's right. First of all, like, if your son can't get a job because you did an interview on YouTube, like, yeah, maybe that's not the kind of place they should work. Aren't we supposed to be like fighting the woke mob, fighting against cancel culture, like being like, fuck you people? I don't know.
I would like, it's honestly depends on the situation for me, but obviously, yes, April's right and you're right. If it's like doxing, absolutely. Like,
and also, it's not only is it on YouTube, it's on Rumble, Rockfin, Twitter, Facebook, Odyssey. It's everywhere. And
that
also,
sounds like damage done.
This person did many interviews on this subject because it was like something topical, like they were fired up about it. It wasn't just my show. Like, they're on the internet.
even like if it's like a doxing thing, you don't necessarily have to take it down. You just censor. Like you're like bleep, like at this part, or like you put a black mark on like if it's like a written thing or whatever. Like so you're not technically, ripping that part of the interview. So what this person's asking you to do is a lot depending on whatever it is. It's like, but she was prepared to come and talk about it anyway. So I mean, I don't know. It honestly depends on who it was, what the situation was, how they asked me, and basically all the like. But no, in general, like I would be leaning more towards you, like because you already kind of consented to come to this interview and you talked. You're an adult, so you should know what you're saying when you're basically consenting to come
Right.
on my show and talk about this thing. So that's not my job to babysit what you're saying.
And it's
Like
also
that's
like
Yeah.
kind of making me seem like I'm the asshole for not
No.
understanding. Like
Look at like me, for example. Like if I were to come to you and be like, hey, I want you to take this interview down that we did, that's ignorant on my part because it's already out there.
right.
And especially since there's interviews from so many other people that I've been on, that I've talked to about my situation, like it's gonna be out there. Trying to get it off of the internet from one person is not gonna
So
save
many
you with
clippers are
anything.
out there. Yeah.
Mhm.
How many times has
Exactly.
it been clipped?
And
yeah,
it's the internet. It's gonna be there no matter what. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you try to do. Like
And
it's gonna be there.
And I think to Kara's point too, that's actually something you probably don't want to do is bring attention to it by taking it down or by
Mhm.
asking it to be taken down and blah blah blah, because that's the Streisand effect. So if you do that, more people will be like, well, what was this? I want to go and find out what it is you actually said. So they'll look for it even more. People will rip it. I mean, look at what
Yes.
happened with Eliza
It's like
Blue.
deleted tweets.
Dude,
People will always go into archive.com and find the deleted tweet and they'll
Mhm.
screenshot it. It is always there.
yeah,
And
the
people
internet's
will
forever.
seek it out if they know it's not presently visible.
Like nobody cared about the Eliza Blue thing until she made such a huge deal out of it. And then everybody was like, oh,
Right,
you
I
don't like
agree.
this video in here? Let me rip the video and upload it to this other platform. And now everyone can watch it anyway. So it's just people are weird. They will make, they will make it.
I will say this too. I think it's important, like if something that you've said previously is like come under fire, so to speak. I hate that line, but I think it's important not to take it down, because if you take it down, then all context is completely lost.
Yeah.
My husband Aaron, like he started his whole career in radio for many years, and then the thing that got us to leave radio and come completely digital at the time was that he had said something in a live stream on a morning show that somebody blew completely out of context and stuff, and the station had him like nuke that whole episode and everything, so now context is lost, right?
Wow.
And I think that's really important to leave that shit up there, because if you said something that you ended up changing your mind or growing and you've decided that what you said was wrong, at least you can go back and like source this thing and be like, look, what I said here was shitty, or I've decided that was the wrong thing to do, and this is how I feel now, and I'm sorry, or whatever, if that was like the case. I feel like this is really situational, but it's important to leave original context intact, I guess.
And what kind of example does
that's a
that
great
set
point.
for your son? Like you go on interviews, you speak out publicly about an issue that you're right to speak out on. But then you're like, oh, actually, I'm going to actually try to get this removed because, I'm afraid that you're not going to get a job. But it's like, okay, that's a temporary thing, but shouldn't we be trying to promote a culture of speaking out on things that are wrong, that are bullshit, that are unjust?
I
and
don't necessarily believe that's why she wants it removed either. It seems kind of.
Why do you think?
I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, how would her son's employer?
Right. They're not. What are they? Are we Googling our moms of people that we're interviewing?
I don't know. People are blasting my mom for being overweight and stuff on here. You never know. She's
Maybe
not part of this world at
comes up
all.
with the last name, but I don't know.
Well, also, I feel like Chrissie, if you delete it, then that kind of makes it seem like you'll just delete any other. Maybe
I agree.
People ask you to delete stuff,
Yeah.
and then you're down like a slippery slope.
Yeah, because if you give an inch, they'll want a mile.
Then you'll have to start deleting other things, and I I don't know. It's a strange request that she would even ask you to do that. Again, I could understand if, let's say, like she had a job that was like, hey, my actual job, and this is going to affect my livelihood, and they've asked me to take this video down, and she had proof of that, and I could understand maybe in that context.
Yeah, she had no proof.
Yeah.
Of this.
So if that was the case, then I'd be like, oh, okay, this is actually affecting her livelihood. It's affecting her ability to make money. But it just seems like maybe she just is not.
But you also said she
anymore.
wanted multiple. She done this multiple times.
She had gone on, I think, other shows, and there are other like internet outlets that covered this story of hers.
Okay, I thought you meant like she asked you to do that multiple times. Like she's been on multiple times.
Oh no, she was just on once.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, try and track down your entire internet record to be like, oh man, I gotta.
Well, now this makes sense why people have you sign things that they say that they have rights to the video and blah blah.
What's crazy, Lila, is I did in the beginning of the pandemic. I did and this was before Steven Crowder did his version, by the way. Not like it's a competition, but like I did this video. It's called like everybody was kung flu fighting. It was like right when the like pandemic first started, and like, it's Chinese, and it was a quick clip of a bunch of comedians singing a line of everybody was kung fu fighting. I'm like, you could say flu, whatever. It was just like a bunch of comics in New York. It was funny. I don't know if it went viral, but it got some views. It was a fun little project to do while we were home. And then I think a year later, a comedian that was in I guess the sketch, like in the video. And this was a girl who asked me to be in it, who was like, is it too late? I want to be in the thing. I like held off completing it to like get this girl in. But like a year later, she reached out like, actually, can you like cut the part of me out of it? Like, can you take it down? Can you take my name out of it? Like, because she was afraid to be associated with me. Because it's like,
oh my God.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job. And like, I heart radio. And it's like, why did you beg me to do it?
Yeah.
Dude, I've got minimal comments like that too. Like, I don't like to go anywhere identifying as like a certain like political party or the likes, but like I've had some people message me like, oh, you were on SimpCast, that must mean you're a righty and you're gross and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my goodness,
excuse me, gross.
Like, gross. Like to be like associated with anything
you mean
right at all, right.